Greetings from Mobility Outlook and welcome to Mobility Conversations. Today we have with us Mr. Shailendra Shukla, Managing Director, Vehicle Group, E-Mobility India, Eaton, India. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. If you can brief me about the Eaton operations.
Sure. So Eaton is a part of 19.6 billion conglomerate, and we have a significant presence in the country through our various businesses and captive center. Our key businesses done here are Vehicle Group, which I represent. Apart from this, we have presence through our aerospace business and electrical business, as well as filtration, almost 7 manufacturing plants in the country. And we also support our globe and the country through our innovation center. And we also support through our SCM center, and we support procurement globally through our centers in the country. And with this, our presence in India is more than 5,000 people strong. And we stay invested in the country, obviously. The country is not only supporting domestic, we are supporting international market in terms of products as well as services, as well as support. So that's how we are trying to grow our presence here. And as we move ahead, we will have more to come.
Okay, so there are several elements, opportunities around the megatrends. What are the areas that you're looking at to capitalize the megatrends, the emerging trends?
Sure. So in India, we are aligning ourselves to our global strategy, which is very clearly articulated that we will stay invested, connected, and we will pursue our business in what we call as a traditional business, that is our internal combustion engine. We are continuing to be spending our efforts there. Unlike many others who have slowed down their business there, we continue to grow. Apart from this, the second area where we are doing a significant work globally as well as in India is the aftermarket space. And that is one which is also giving us good revenue globally as well as in India. And our global strategy also talks about e-mobility. Of course, we'll talk more as we proceed, our offerings and what we are doing there. We also have new spaces where we are typically going to talk about terminals and connectors and the hybrid environment. And finally, new places where we serve the alternate market from our perspective, which could be off highways and agricultures and so on and so forth. This is something which we are replicating in the region, in the country, and that has been our template as we move ahead, and we will continue to see our movement on the same path.
Yeah. Happy to know that you're continuously working on IC engines, while some other companies are opting out of this particular segment. What is the key driver? I'm curious to know.
Sure. So if you would see our overall offering, and at the same time you would see how the market is moving, we personally believe that IC engine will be there together while the electrification kind of ramps up, and we believe the volumes are going to be substantial for us to be in the game, and it's going to be quite some time by the time the electrification actually or the alternate fuels kind of replace IC engine, and which means that we have substantial numbers of years left to be there in the business. And as you see, we also concentrate on aftermarkets, and we believe more our solution in the market, we will also help to improve our business over there. So it's purely business, it's market opportunity, which we believe we have to capitalize on.
Okay. Mobility industry is transforming into, I don't know how to express it. It's like, it's transforming to a different level now. So how are you scripting your strategy to make your company future ready?
Sure. Over here, I will first take you through what we are doing globally. Since there are certain countries who are ahead in terms of adoption of new technology or alternate technology, which means that at some point of time we will have some kind of domestic excellence Plus, we will have some global templates which we can actually replicate here in India. So, coming to mobility, there are countries in Europe, Americas, and China which are doing substantially better in the electrification in terms of adoption rate by the consumers, which obviously means business for the industry, including Eaton. And we are obviously taking those opportunity there. And the learnings from there is something which we intend to implement here in the country. But given the innovation and and the frugal engineering which happens in India, I'm sure there will be a lot of domestication of the technology which happens over here. So while I say this, fortunately our Global Innovation Center sits right here in India, in Pune, where there are more than 2,000 engineers who are working on innovation for vehicle, for aerospace, and for our electrical world. And then again, our company comes with a unique position of having both electrical and mechanical experiences, which is also helping us to innovate. So the country is innovating for the globe. At the same time, the team works along with our domestic team to see what we can do locally in country for our needs. Having said that, once the technology changes, the segment which you cater to can also change. So if you see, we were very strong in four-wheelers and medium and heavy-duty vehicles, and of course off-road vehicles. Little presence in two-wheelers and three-wheelers across the globe. But now when we sit on a table, we think, why not two-wheelers and why not three-wheelers? Okay, so we will want to, use our unique position to grow and to see how we can do better in India.
Okay, okay. If you can share a little more information about the electrification portfolio, what are the products that you have for India and for the world?
So globally, our solutions will come in three areas. One is power electronics. Typically, that's DC-DC converter, inverters, and related products. Second is power distribution, where power distribution unit itself is a solution. And we have a patented product called Bractor, which is nothing but a fusion of fuse plus contactor and helps for vehicle safety. So that's another area of product which we do. And terminals and connectors will also fall somewhere here. And finally, we are also into transmissions for the electric vehicles, where in India we are already making 4-speed, though the consumption right now is in different countries, but we do have an experience over there. And while we speak, we also acquired a company called Royal Power Solutions, which specializes into terminals and connectors specifically for vehicle application, and also on the batteries which goes in the vehicle. So that also would be the area of concentration. So now if you would see what is going to be faster in India remains to be seen when we reach out to the various OEMs and various organizations who are interested in the space of electrification. We get here different challenges. Sometimes we hear that connectors are a big challenge in the country. Sometimes we hear that power distribution is a bigger challenge. But I think the country and the industry is evolving around all this. But while this is happening, we are going to use our global learning and see how best to serve the country and the consumers and the customers here.
Yeah, out of the major modules in an electric vehicle, battery, motors and connectors, modules, cabling, BMS, etc. I think you have more than 50% share as of now, no?
Okay, so where we are not into is batteries. We don't manufacture battery, and while I speak, no. So we are not also into the motors. But if you see in the driveline, transmission will play a big role. EV gearing may play a big role, where we are already doing something internationally, and that's not very difficult for us to bring it in India, since we already have gear manufacturing facility here and transmission facility here in the country, and so are the transmissions. But PDU and Bractor and terminals connectors will also play a big role. So as a percentage of content, it is very difficult to point, since different OEMs may have their different designs. So as I said, it is evolving, but we believe that while the money is available, we are going to be in the critical systems of the vehicle.
Some time ago, you said that no, Eaton is strong in mechanical and electrical. When you merge, you can even make motors. Is there an opportunity you see?
So the opportunity is immense, if you ask me. But whatever plans and strategies we have in our mind, motors is some distance away, and the other three areas which I mentioned will take a precedence over there. But not something we have in on motors immediately to share, or not that something we will be launching immediate over there. So while I can talk about future, there is a possibility, but as on today, we will be concentrating on the offers which we have explored, learned, burnt our fingers, and ready to launch.
Okay. Eaton is also into digitalization in a big way. If you can throw a little more light on the initiatives.
So when Eaton looks at digitization, it looks from different windows. One, what is it that you can offer to customer, where you can monetize your digital assets? Two, what is that you can use in-house, where you can improve your efficiencies, specifically for manufacturing. And for the business I'm talking, the bigger action for us is improving our efficiency for the digitization in the manufacturing space. So I would say globally as well as in India, we are at the forefront of taking a lot of actions on digitization, including Industry 4.0. And as you know, Industry 4.0 is more like a pizza topping. There are several solutions available, so you have to pick and choose what you are going to be implementing. So in India, we have already implemented augmented reality. We have implemented additive printing, mostly helps for maintenance. We are doing a lot of system integration. We are already implementing digital instructions and Internet of Things. This is something which is very prevalent already in India. Something which we want to add up will be the cobos, and that's quite interesting over here, because globally cobos, the payback period is very fast. It's probably 2 years. But in India, by virtue of the labor rates and others, the payback period may be long. But that we are not saying as inhibition. No, much more, 12 years and above. 12 years and above. But we will not see that as an inhibition in our deployment. We would still go ahead and see that we get to implement some, because it's not only about money. Sometimes works are very repetitive, so it plays a big role in quality. Some works are very taxing for the workmen, typically visual inspection. Can we do something around that? Those will be some areas where we are already working on. So when we will look at Industry 4.0, it's going to be quality, it's going to be our worker safety, it's going to be efficiency, and obviously money, which we will keep into our mind.
I understand that you are working on your research is on IoT, Industry 4.0 and Industry 5.0. If you can throw a little more light on what is, Industry 5.0, and then how can this be implemented in?
Sure. So I would say first factories have to adopt Industry 4.0. Because what it does, it's basically cyber metaphysical systems, and I would like to go back a little bit. So Industry 1.0 was where a lot of steam power was used. After 40-50 years, it was the electrification which came into picture. Another 40-50 years, it was automation which got adopted, and Industry 4.0 is now interconnecting all of these and trying to create a cyber meta systems. And Industry 5.0 is more about man-machine interface. Okay, so my belief is it is Industry 4.0 has to be deployed first for you to get the benefits of Industry 5.0. And typically the cycle of the industry revolution has been pretty long. It runs into decades. So I believe 5.0 is going to be some year away. I don't want to be a prophet here, but based on what we see happening in the ground and what is getting deployed, we believe is going to be Industry 4.0 first, adoption, and then moving to 5.0.
Yeah. Now let me draw you to the vehicle group. So what are the products that no the Eaton in India is manufacturing under this group?
Sure. So in India, the vehicle group has two manufacturing plants. One is in Ranjangaon and second is in Ahmednagar. The one in Ranjangaon manufactures transmissions, and it is not only serving the domestic market, it's a regional center of excellence. So we support Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia, we support China, we also support Turkey and Europe through this plant. And our other plant, Ahmednagar, where we make engine parts, that is valves and valves actuation, where again we are serving the domestic need as well as the international market, primarily in North America and Europe and Thailand through both these plants. So fortunate for us, we have a good mix of domestic and the exports business, which helps us to sometimes beat the cyclicity. And sometimes we also have learnings from different markets which helps us to improvise if at all there is a need. And practically through these two plants we drive our business. However, in the Asia Pacific region we have other countries also serving the Indian market. For example, our plant in Korea, they serve the differential needs typically in a 4x4 kind of vehicle kind of application in India. Our factories from China is also supporting for variable valve actuations and also if need be hollow valves, which can get supported from there. So when our sales team goes over here, obviously we go with the complete Eaton portfolio, and as a concept of the organization, we have all kind of products getting manufactured within the region. For certain products, India is center of excellence. For certain products, it could be Korea or China, which could be center of excellence. And obviously, we have presence in many other countries globally, including Poland and in Europe, as well as Italy and North America, and Brazil, of course, where we keep sharing our knowledge as well as solutions to meet the local demand.
What are the key drivers for you to get business, or I mean, to enhance your content per vehicle in the commercial vehicle segment? Because a lot of initiatives are being taken. One is the national logistics policy, and then the roads are coming up. Where do you see the opportunities coming?
Sure. So the investment in the infrastructure space, and secondly, the changing government norms, specifically on fuel efficiency or engine braking, both are helping organization like ours as well as the industry to increase our business and adoption in the market. Coming back to your original question, content per vehicle, we have certain global products which has not remained explored in the country, I would say. For example, clutch. We are a big name globally over in the globe, but in India, we do little business over there. Similarly, fuel vapors, which is having a very high adoption globally, primarily because of the regulations and norms over there, has a little adoption right now in India. So we foresee from our traditional offering, we have quite a few solutions and offerings which we can explore. Plus the technology is changing, that always opens the avenue to grow more.
Okay. A little bit about the R&D center that you have in India. You said no, some 2,000 people work there.
Correct.
Curious to know about it.
Sure. The interesting part of this innovation center is the testing facility. So we have a very high-end, high-quality test labs, again in Magarpatta in Pune, where we get to test our products, the rigor, the rigidity, the quality, as well as the performance. And this is not only helping the country but also helping our global initiatives. So we feel very happy that India as a country is supporting the global needs through the brains and the knowledge power of our engineers sitting right here, and I'm sure we'll contribute more from the country.
What percentage of the research is for the aerospace?
Okay, so that's going to be a little difficult to pinpoint, but if I go by the spread of the business, what we do globally, aerospace could easily be 25%. But that may not be the right benchmark, because the efforts required over there are a little more.
Okay, but is this research and development center a center of excellence for one or few elements of research?
It's encompassing all the solutions which we are giving. So I cannot isolate that some solutions are catered from here and other solutions are catered from a different center of ours. It is encompassing all that we are doing globally.
One other important element in Eaton's business is sourcing. Sourcing components from child parts or to systems from India. Which are the parts that you may source, and then which are the plants that are being catered to from India?
Sure. So, as I said, both our Ranjangaon and Ahmednagar facility, we have localized our sourcing and the needs which we have. So, for our Ahmednagar plant, more than 95% is localized, and for Ranjangaon, similar percentage, which means that we are working with several organizations here. And what are the parts? So typically in a transmission there could be more than 300 parts which gets inside. Okay, so which could be gears, which could be gear blanks, there'll be castings, forged parts, aluminum parts, studs, LRCs, several. So we work obviously with the steel industry, because we are consumer of that. That's for our Ahmednagar plant. There are specialized steel required for the productions we do. Through our Ranjangaon plant, we work through with a series of quality manufacturers who help us to make our transmission stronger. Apart from certain processes we do ourselves, and certain parts becomes the make part over here. Now, as a strategy for sourcing, one thing I wanted to highlight is we don't treat our suppliers only as a domestic supplier. We want them to grow. And in our endeavor, there are several suppliers from India who are also supporting our global plants now. And we were so happy in the recent supplier conference, a few of them actually got the Excellence Award at the global scale. And without naming them, one of them is right from Chennai, by the way, and other one up north. So our endeavor is our suppliers should support us locally. They should grow with us, also support the globe, and at the same time the country. Other than this, our global procurement center of excellence team is also based in India, which is another 500 plus people which are based. This is other than the innovation team which we have mentioned. And this team and our local sourcing team, we actually work together to see how obviously our organization gets benefited, and B, how the country gets benefited. So it's I would say it's in the heart and blood of the entire sourcing team that our suppliers have to grow and scale up at the global level. Our global procurement runs more than $2 billion only for the vehicle business. So I'm sure India is one of the big contributors there.
Okay. What kind of support you extend to the suppliers?
Okay. So when we work for the supplier, we work with the supplier. We have a supplier development team. We have an engineering team. So lot of designs and validation are done together, and our supplier development team actually goes to our supplier and helps them to design the process identify the various machineries sometimes if it is required, design the flow, and I would say as back as 2 months back, we actually went to our suppliers, did a continuous improvement exercise in their plant and helped them to be a little more efficient. This is apart from the various monetary benefits and help we extend, which I'm sure a lot of the organizations are doing in the country. But in our endeavor to growth, we believe it's about knowledge, experience, sharing our best practices with them, which is helping our suppliers to stay thick with us, to stay bonded with us. Because for all suppliers, we may not be the largest customer. They may have some bigger customers. For some suppliers, we may be the largest customer. But how do we stay bonded is obviously through our relationship and the support we extend. And we feel pride irrespective of the percentage of the business we have in our suppliers' business. The respect is obviously 100%.
Okay. So the next 5 years, what are the major plans that you have in your mind? What kind of investments that you're planning in India?
We continue to invest in our both the plants, A, to enhance capacity, B, to bring modernization, and C, to improve efficiency. We are also working in the aftermarket space to see how we can cater to the growing aftermarket demand. Specifically, one of the trends is pre-owned vehicles also having a lot of adoption. And while we do so, we are not ignoring the future trends on the mobility where we are going to work and the new spaces and the new places. So I would say we are investing right now, and it will be unfair for me to say proportionately, because certain businesses are matured, certain businesses we need to put additional money, and we always look forward to see if we can make some strong bonding and relationships here, which can help us to grow more in the country and also export outside.
You talked about aftermarket in a big way. What is that remanufacturing as a concept is picking up, or in some parts of this region? That means in the Asia Pacific region. In West, I think it is very popular. But in India, it is still not picked up. What are the initiatives Eaton has taken for this circular economy?
Sure. So, because you mentioned remanufacturing, let me tell you, we have a big remanufacturing plant in countries like Australia, and Brazil and USA, because over there is a lot of acceptance for the market for these. We are learning their best practices, but with regards to the market adoption right now, we believe it's some years away. Primarily because over there, when there's a remanufacturing sector, it's vendor agnostic. So it will serve parts and solutions of all vendors. Whereas in India, that maturity and concept is yet to sink in. People would still want to go to the original manufacturer for these kind of processes. And when you are doing only for your product, then somewhere the mathematics may not work, or you may have to reinvent to make it profitable. But having said that, we have already begun our actions in India for that, since we cater to transmission for something we manufacture right now. We are not catering to another manufacturer's transmissions. So we are doing that in a very small scale in India, and as and how the opportunity comes, I'm sure we'll have a bigger presence.
Great, Mr. Shukla, thank you for your time. Thank you for enlightening me on many things on Eaton. Thanks so much.
Really, thank you again for giving us the opportunity.
Thanks. Bye.